Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I want to talk about something a little bit more controversial. This might be a more controversial video, so if that's not really your thing, feel free to skip past this. But it's specifically around the ideas of all the allegations that happened in the Smash community about 3 years ago or so, around 2020. So I wanted to share what I think about it and what I kind of think the core issue is at the source, and we can kind of talk about what we do about it because I think it's important to not just play the blame game, but also figure out a constructive way forward. So let's look at this now. Back around the time it was happening, I mentioned that a big contributing issue to it is the culture. And I would say that heavy drinking at tournaments, or just like this culture of casual drinking, is inviting catastrophe. So if there are minors present, and it is because especially the ultimate scene has a lot of younger folks involved, there should be no alcohol at all. And sexual abuse starts with a mindset, which is a lot of immature young men being opportunistic in a situation that is manipulative and not conducive to healthy relationships of any kind. So I would say this is the kind of the main issue. But beyond this, you might say, like, how come all this stuff happens now? Well, part of it is we have tools and technology that allow us to have more information shared about us than was possible before. So it's very likely there was a level of this culture problem even in like the early competitive Melee days. And without question, the Melee scene is no beacon of saintliness either. But I think one reason that the Ultimate scene was the vast majority of these abuse scandals and allegations is because they're younger, they're more immature, and they don't really know what they're doing as much. The Melee scene, on average, is generally older. That doesn't mean that people haven't screwed up in that community as well. We know plenty of people that have gotten canceled there. So I guess all this to say, I want to be really careful when we think about this, that we're not just putting a band-aid fix and saying, the Smash community needs to do better. That's nice, hollow language that doesn't really mean anything. Nice sounding hollow language, I should say. But I think what you really have to do is look at how are we thinking about drinking? When people drink a lot, what ends up happening as a result of this kind of party culture? Well, usually a bunch of, question marks around consent, around sexual encounters, which shouldn't even be happening at all. Right. Now, of course, lots of people will argue, well, sex is casual. That's just part of the culture. And I'm going to say, as long as it's seen that way, you're going to have lots of messy cases and lots of hurt and a lot of negativity and negative effects from it. You have people that are discovering who they are. They're kids, and they're getting mixed up in this stuff. So I think I treat it very seriously. I'm really not a fan of how this was addressed kind of at one time, then it's sort of like, well, I guess we'll just do better, That's not good enough, in my opinion. I think we really need to dial back the whole culture of promiscuity and also just drinking a lot, which is just kind of the norm. And I think as long as that continues to be the norm of the culture of the community, you're going to continually find more allegations, more controversies, more he says, she says, and the as long as you treat sex as sacred within the context of committed relationships, I would go as far as to say marriage. If you don't take that approach, it's bound for continual catastrophe. I would say the same thing for drinking. Really, you shouldn't be drunk at all. That shouldn't be a normal in any scene. And the more that it is, the more that it's normalized, the more you're going to find problems like this. So that's my hot take. I have a lot more to say around issues around that as well, but I just wanted to start off with one and just kind of get your feedback. Do you feel like I'm completely off base here? Am I saying a bunch of pie in the sky nonsense? Or am I onto something? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.